Greetings and salutations. Welcome to another episode of 365 Days of Gaming. I really appreciate you taking our time to check out this video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Greatly appreciated, so thank you in advance. Now we're going back to talk about a game that we previously mentioned, another entry in the series, right? And I had to do the sequel at some point, so I felt, what better time than now? And this sequel is like one of the most legendary games, at least for people from my generation, when it comes to series we never got what we feel like is the true sequel and continuation of the series. So let's talk about Def Jam Fight for New York. Now, it doesn't matter which version you played it, whether you played the Xbox version, GameCube, PlayStation 2 version, because they were essentially exactly the same, especially back then. We didn't know about no frame rates and all of that stuff, so nobody cared. And the game was a sequel to Def Jam Vendetta, right? Def Jam Vendetta was more of a wrestling game, and Fight for New York just took everything up to the next level. The story is better, the character creation is better. In the first game, you got to pick from these templates of characters. This one, you get to make your character from the ground up, including fighting styles. The level of depth this game had for a game that had, for us, had high hopes, right? But there was nothing like this, and nothing like it since, as far as the developing your character, all of the different, voice acting, the stories. And it wasn't corny, because that was a thing that we would kind of get from the sequel to this, is that it got really corny. Def Jam Vendetta and Fight for New York had the ability to, do something that infused the hip hop culture without, going into caricatures and things like that. And the number of rappers increased, the number of total characters, the fighting styles are so much different. As you mix different types of styles together, it changes your moves. So you have all these different combinations that you can make. One of my favorite things to do martial arts, kickboxing, and then I would either do submission or wrestling, or I would start off as a wrestler, submission artist, just things like that. There's so many different ways. I know people who love the street fighting style because they had the haymakers and all of that. And I definitely made a pure striking character where it was just street fighting, martial arts, and kickboxing. So, I get it, but just those little aspects of it, the customization of the clothing, having all these different brands, they have the generic one. So, you can just get a black shirt, but then you have things like Jordan brand, you have Fat Farm, Echo, things that were popular at the time. Not everything is still as popular, but this game just had so much going on, so in such a great way. The story is fantastic. The thing with this game was, the first time I played it, one of my friends let me borrow the game, right? He's like, yeah, you got to play it, make your character and all that stuff. Then, you come over my house this weekend, we can, both use our user created characters and all that stuff. I'm like, all right, bet. I beat this game the first night I played it. And not because this game is short, but I literally played it from the time I got off the bus or got home, whichever the situation was, I can't remember. But as soon as I got home, right, which was 4 o'clock, until I beat it, which was 4 in the morning. It was just incredible. Every next phase you open up, you're like, all right, let me just do one more. Let me just do a couple more fights. You get a little more money. You get to get another, maybe you get another super move, finishing move. All of these different things just keep you invested in the game. They had the little girlfriend storyline, which was kind of cool. It was a nice way to introduce, the women fighters, which was great. And if you actually play, I won't say competitive Fight for New York, but if you just played the game against other people, you will notice that some of the women fighters are some of the best characters. They have certain moves that are just really hard to deal with, and certain good combinations of fighting styles. As you progress through the story, obviously you're now under the tutelage, or you're under with the gang of D-Mob, who's the villain in the first game, and now you're dealing with Crow, who's played by Snoop Dogg, and then all of his flunkies and all those things. And that was great. But then you get into the actual versus mode things that are going on. And let me tell you, there is nothing like getting it on in the subway and just seeing who can survive. Our thing was, everybody needs to go downstairs, go down to the tracks, right? But I know some people weren't really about that life, so they wouldn't do it. But that was our thing, is go down there, fight it out. And if you get caught on the ground, or you get caught trying to run up when the train comes, and that's on you. Nothing we could do about that. You messed up. But just a number of times playing there, you had the Terror Dome, going through the story mode and having to deal with Busta Rhymes and Fat Joe's characters, who will give you the business real quick. All of those things I'm sure everybody has, kicked Crow out the window, and also sometimes tried to do the cool thing, which is like beat him without doing it, but just so many memories, to the point of every time they like to make this little joke about bringing back Fight for New York or some version of Def Jam. Everybody's like, oh man, you heard they're gonna try to make a new one? No, they're not. We'll never get it. It was the perfect storm before everybody understood their worth and their value. Like those dudes ain't going for that anymore, so we'll probably never get another one. But this is like a perfect moment in time where everything comes together. This is pretty much when EA went from one of the companies that you could guarantee you would enjoy the game to not even wanting to touch it because it's an EA game. Like this game is the beginning of the end of EA being a company that is consistently in the good graces of its consumers, right? So just wanted to highlight how incredible of a game that Fight for New York is, was, and will be, because even right now it's still a great game, as you can see. I know you've played it. Who's your characters? What are your memories with this game? What are some of your favorite finishing moves, combos, whatever it may be? Let's talk about how great this game was. I appreciate you taking out time to let me reminisce with you. Y'all have fun. Y'all be safe. Peace.